proper voter roll. Maryland doesn't want to do it. They say their rolls are good. Well, I'll tell you, I know for a fact that people who move out of state, their names don't get dropped off the rolls. A lot of people who are deceased don't get dropped off the rolls. And certainly, we don't know how many illegal immigrants in Maryland are voting. We don't know how many illegal immigrants in Maryland are voting. We need to do that. We need the SAVE Act. We need it sooner rather than later. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today, standing up for our constitutional right.
Thank you so much, Congressman Harris. And now you're going to hear from someone who's with the State Freedom Caucus Network, and the State Freedom Caucus Network has been one of our coalition partners as we've gone around the country, the chairman of the Maryland Freedom Caucus, Delegate Matt Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out here today. So you might have seen a little bit of a viral video from our past session here, me and the speaker going at it a little bit. And we were debating a bill that cracked down on criminal illegal aliens and turning them over to ICE once they've committed a crime. And we had a bill, and Democrats ended up poison pilling that bill at the end with an amendment, stripped out the 287G program, a program that's made our citizens a lot more safer. And they did some stuff administratively in the bill that made it just completely worthless. And I stood on the House floor, and our rules are you have to address the speaker. And I said, Madam Speaker, what's become painfully obvious this legislative session, if the Maryland people are on one side on an issue and that issue conflicts with the agenda of the Democratic Party, the representatives here will follow the party every single time. She was like, that's not true. And I said, but Madam Speaker, it is true. It's true on taxes, on issues like crime and voter ID. Imagine if we took a statewide poll and say, should only citizens vote in Maryland? That issue would come back at 60, 70, probably close to 80%. We've polled voter ID many times. It comes back at the 75, 80%. But yet, every time we tried to drop an amendment, every time we sponsor a bill, it's met with the same face. You're told that you're disenfranchising minorities, and then whoever puts that bill in is immediately demonized as a bigot. It's not true. And I'm going to ask you this. Do you honestly believe they believe that? I was just reminded last week. See, I represent St. Mary's County in Southern Maryland. And that's a part of the state where I'll say that county fairs and community matter still. And for my entire life, the county fairs are the last month of September. It goes Charles County, St. Mary's, Calvert. Last week, the Charles County Fair came out with a policy that to enter the fair, you must show an ID. Now, I find that interesting from a county that's completely governed by Democrats locally in their state delegation, that's minority majority. So if they're willing to enforce this on something as trivial as entering the fair, they should be able to do this for something that is important as your federal, state, and local elections. That is only common sense. And now here's my challenge for you. You've all done a great job with this rally. We absolutely support you. But here's the challenge. There's 102 Democrats in the House chamber here. Many more in the state Senate. Many more candidates running next year in next year's election. Go out and try to find a handful, just a handful of Democrats that are willing to stand up to their party and do something that what their job entails. They're representatives. The people want this. This is common sense. I wish you luck. Thank you so much for coming out here with us. God bless.